Hey, welcome to the Travel Winds podcast. My guest today is Kanya Sesser. She's a skater, surfer, activist, motivational speaker, model, Paralympian. You got a lot going on. How are you today, Kanya?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on the podcast show. I'm doing amazing, just hanging in there, but really good and happy and just living life still.
Pretty stoked to talk to you. You're a professional skateboarder.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to hear, I've watched some of your videos, and I roller skate a lot. So I roller skate up and down the Strand. And actually, one of our friends who's a professional roller skater had seen you out at the Venice skate park.
Oh, wow.
I love hearing you talk about, your trucks are too loose or too tight, or your 55s and your bones, and it's kind of cool.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes. I went to the X Games last year, back in 2019. I think 2019, 2019.
Back when we were open.
I was like the first adaptive woman to skate with all the other men out there at the X Games. It was a really fun experience.
If you can, give my listeners a quick background about your story. I know you've told it a million times, but...
Oh, yes. I do not mind at all. So a brief summary about myself is I was born in Thailand. Well, I was found in Pakchong, Thailand. And I was wrapped in a blanket when the older gentleman and a woman found me. So they come to get me around dawn. They said that I was out there for at least a day, maybe 8 hours, 7 hours or something, because I was all dirty from the streets, the cars that went passing by. And I had insect bites on me and stuff. But I wasn't there more than at least a day, or maybe over 8 hours. They found me, and they took me into their house. But once they opened my blanket up that I was wrapped in, they found out that I didn't have any legs, and I was born that way. And there was no indication of surgery or anything like that. Just normal smooth skin, and okay, wow, this person, this baby is born without legs, and her mother or someone dropped her off a while ago. So they took me into Pakchong Hospital. That's where I started becoming their own family there, until I had to go to my foster home in Bangkok, Thailand. But a lot of nurses at Pakchong Hospital, they really took care of me and make sure that I was healthy before I went to my foster home. And then my foster home, that's when I got adopted from an Oregon mother here from the United States that came and got me. And when she saw me, she wanted me, not just because I didn't have legs, and she feel, oh my gosh, I feel so sorry for this girl. No, she got me because she's hey, I really feel a connection towards her, and I want to take her for myself and raise her as my own daughter. So I came to America when I was around 6.5 to 7 years old, and I didn't even speak English fluently, English, until I was 9. So around 9 years old, because all I knew was Thai back then. And most people say, wow, Kanya, you don't have any accent. Well, it's because my mom is a English teacher.
Oh.
She pretty much taught me well on how to speak English and fluent English. And Thai, I was speaking in Thai in front of the mirror, talking to myself, because I didn't have anybody else to talk to in Thai. Yeah. So it was kind of hard, because I felt like nobody really understand me or understand what I wanted at the time. But I was young, and it was kind of hard growing up, I guess, when I was a kid, because it had to deal more of people understanding me. It wasn't really was it tough for me because the fact that I didn't have legs. I'm pretty sure it was kind of tough for my mom to take care of me, because she had to go to class or be taught by someone that knows how to work with kids who are disabled or differently abled. So she did a lot for me. So thank you for my mom, Jane Sessor. No, she literally went over the top to raise me and make sure that I was raised right. And she also made sure that I had whatever I needed when I was in school, because I was in elementary school in Byram, Tualatin, Oregon. And she made a playground for people with wheelchairs that can play, because the playground was kind of up on a hill on a like bark chip or bark desk, and I couldn't even get through my chair on that, or it was kind of hard for me to go like play with other kids. So she's like, you know what? I'm gonna make like, you know, her
just make it accessible.
Her, yeah, exactly. Like, about not just me, but other kids who are in wheelchairs. Yeah. So my mom is a freaking angel. Like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be in what I am today, to be honest. That has the connection with sports, that has connections with many other like things. Like, she's the one that got me to wheelchair sports and wheelchair tennis, and she's the one that like did a fundraiser and like did a lot for me to get to the Olympics, because, you know, you can't just like get to the Olympics without like any type of money or sponsorship that makes you go there. So, you know, so she did a lot. So that woman's a blessing.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You know, I have two adult daughters now, and it's interesting to see them grow. You know, as a parent, you never know if the things you're doing for them will make a difference, you know, in their lives down the road, if they're even going to remember it. But like with what your mom did, obviously the fruits are there. I mean, you're living a vibrant life. You're out there.
Yep.
You know, so I'm curious. A lot of people now look at you as a role model.
Mm-hmm.
But who were your role models?
Well, first of all, I was going to say, you know, I think most people, it's hard to find mothers and people that can be connected like that.
Yeah,
you know, there's a lot of people who comes up to me like, how did you get to where you are? And like, how did you get all this and stuff? I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by people that love me and have the opportunity that I need and being taken care of. Most people don't have that, like, you know, support and like people around them that actually love them. Actually, most people that are like abandoned, they get into homes that like, you know, that aren't good for them, and they get abused, or they're with a family that doesn't really know nothing, because foster home, foster care usually like don't tell them any other disability or mental abilities that they have, because they're trying to sell these kids to families. They want to kind of like, you know, give kids like to a house and stuff, so that way they can bring more kids into foster homes. So, my role model would have to be, I don't know. I don't really have I never really have a role model. I feel like myself is a role model, because I don't sound like, you know, like selfish or like, you know, one of those people, but like, I feel like because like everything that I did, like, it's like through myself, my family, and people that's around, because I didn't really like look up to anybody or like think you'd be like, oh, this person has like the same struggles and like, ooh, I can relate to this person. I never really, because I feel like everybody's different. So I never really had a role model, to be honest. I just kind of like just thought myself as like, I got myself. I'm an independent person. I'm also stubborn and like, but I know that I can do anything and kind of make my own name.
Are you still, do you still talk to your mom on a frequent basis about what's going on?
Oh yeah, we text every time. We text every day. Yesterday she texted me like, hey, like, well, she texted me recently that my grandma died. She texted me about like, how's my, like, you know, Texas and how's Jeff, and like, yeah, we text mostly every day. And, right now she's getting a little older than my dad, but there's just like, you know, children at home. She's retired substitute teacher. She's a retired teacher. Yeah. And she, same with my dad, he's retired and stuff like that. So, a lot of my family, they're like kind of doing their own thing, and I'm kind of doing my own things as well, but she's doing great. As far as she just had her surgery last month, on her ankle or something. But other than that, she's healthy, she's fine, and everything's good. So fortunate to have like that, you know, my mom okay. My dad's okay too. So, yeah.
That's a big blessing.
It's a very big blessing because, every day it's like you never know what could happen. And like, you always got to like appreciate what you have and always like, even when like, our family isn't always perfect and we don't always like, there's times where like we argued or like there's times where we just like can't stand our family. But at the same time, it's like still be around them and still like, still give them what they need because they're not here longer, The next thing is your turn to get older and like, it's our turn to show the next generation of what we've learned and what we've gone through. So life is a journey and life isn't long. Well, I feel like can be long, but life has its purpose because I feel like our soul and spirit still lives on after this. So, I mean, our bodies still, but yeah.
But, it's interesting because I think out of all the negatives of the COVID lockdown, and there are many, it's just, and my wife gives me a hard time about it, but I always try and look at the positives of it. And so I sit there and go, like you were just saying, like your mom's still alive, your dad's still alive, your boyfriend's healthy, everyone's healthy, I think it's made us look back and go, hey, yeah, this sucked, but we got our health. We'll have next year. We'll keep moving.
Yeah. That's funny because I was just like talking to my boyfriend about, even though music isn't going on, which really sucks. And even though like, we're not working as much or work is limited because COVID, but I'm just like, yeah, but like, think about it. We're still living. We're still breathing. Like, that's like all those stuff can come back eventually. But like the fact that we're still alive because there's people who has COVID that like are going through like hospitals and stuff that they don't even know they could make it. Like, so I always say like, at least you're alive and you're living and you're healthy. That's all that matters. Yeah. Everything else materialistic and everything else can come later in life. And I know that it's hard right now for everybody. I mean, for everybody, anybody, no matter who you are or what you do, it's hard for everybody because we're in this world of unknown. And even the fact that we were listening on the news lately that like the vaccines are limited to certain areas and people, right. Even with the vaccines coming out and stuff like that, it's not going to be the same. Like it's not just going to be like, okay, cool, we can go back out now and stuff like that. No, there's like cautions and stuff that we still got to maintain. But the most important thing is just like, don't put yourself in negativity mindset the whole time of this just because you don't get your way, just because you don't get what you need. You just got to understand that you're living, you're healthy, and you have a house, like a roof,
and
you
got another chance.
Food. Yeah, exactly. I feel like people who don't really appreciate, they always want more. And it's just like, why? At least you're living. Like, that's all that matters. What makes me happy is like just living.
Well, I think it's a balance, though, right? I mean, like obviously, I want my podcast to do better. I want to make more money. I want my day job to do better.
Yes.
But it's a balance of, hey, be thankful for what you have because obviously, I mean, we just had a friend pass away from COVID 2 weeks ago. So
sorry for that. Now,
yeah,
it's really my friend's friend just passed away from. And then my other friend's, her grandpa is going through COVID, and he just had his like birthday, and everything seemed fine, and it was okay. Like he seemed healthy, like a week before, and then like he had COVID and stuff, and it's like, whoa, you were just healthy. So a lot of people, it's an interesting time right now, and especially with like we're like with the politics situation and all that stuff. It's just
that's all craziness.
Like, come on, does that really like matter at the moment? Like, there's people dying, so. But other than that, I try not to get into politics as much just because
me too.
I'm not really into that, but I'm just at the end of the day, I just like, I appreciate the fact that like, yes, I'm good. And like, yes, I'm I'm still making a little bit of money as much as I can, but like
Sure.
the fact that I can just, because once everything starts back to semi-normal and like, you know, things are happening again a couple years from now and all that stuff, you just got to look back and be like, hey, you know what? I appreciate the days where I can just relax and not do much. Now I'm doing crazy shit and I kind of need a rest, you know? So appreciate it.
You know, I was going to ask you how has the lockdown affected you? Because you're doing your public speaking and your your events where you have to show up, but obviously that's all been kind of cut back. I mean, how bad has the lockdown affected you and your business?
Oh my goodness. Well, okay. It's not too bad just because, you know, I've done a lot of roles and movies and TV shows that kind of like gives me residual supporting system.
Sure.
But at the same time, like being busy, we have like photo shoots and stuff like that, but that we work on, like, and we edit. So that's part of like our side job as well. But,
okay, cool.
That's what my boyfriend and I do. But, just like kind of like around here in Texas and all that. But lately, I've been safety wise and like making sure getting tested and all that, that I've been traveling a little bit, but mostly for work or business reasonings and all that. And, make sure like, you know, safety precautions and make sure that like we're just going for certain situations and stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, it's not been too bad. I just like, it's not been too bad. I had a little like, a little audition that I can't say at the moment. So every day. So, and with other photo shoots,
sure.
Pretty much right now, I'm just getting sponsors and people like, hey, we want these. Hey, we want these photos. If you can like, you know, we'll send you this, but like, we'll also pay you as well. So I'm kind of like working kind of like in the office, in the studio. But other than that, I've been also on the news for CNBC and Telemundo. So I've been kind of like semi-working, but not too much like I used to. So at least much. I'm like, yeah, but at least I'm kind of, I definitely not been motivational speaking.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing motivational speaking or like traveling long flights or anything like that for that. Cause obviously, you know, due to the situation, but other than that, I've been doing other like jobs and stuff. I just got a new agent and like, been working with them. So everything's good for me. I appreciate what I got and what I have for now, but I know that more opportunities and things will come in the near future once things can semi-settle.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing I've learned. I mean, everybody that, for me, like I travel for my work, everybody, you have to adjust how you do things, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's
exactly.
Just the way it is. So, because I've talked to several public speakers, that's all they did. And it's like, oh, well, you're out of work.
Yeah, I'm not just a motivational speaker. I'm also like an actress. I'm a stunt person, but everything you have to get tested before you work and stuff and make sure you're okay to do the job. So pretty much you're safe. But yeah, I do more than just motivational speaking. My other jobs are also like acting and audition is from home now, not in studio. So
that's kind of cool.
But me and my boyfriend, we have our own studio that we do. So it's good to get like the professional cut. And I have my own personal at-home editor too. So I've been like kind of like at home making money that way.
Well, that's,
I guess.
I mean, obviously I think that's smart. I mean, but
yeah.
Were you set up that way before COVID or did COVID create that?
COVID created that. To be honest, if it wasn't like, I try to think of kind of the positive. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm like, you know, to be honest, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I probably would have met my boyfriend who I've known for 4.5 years. We've known each other for 4.5 years, but we never really actually talk 7 hours, 6 hours every night before I actually moved here to Texas. I met him because of COVID, because we were just like talking back and forth because he lived in Texas and I lived in LA. South Bay. I lived in Ranchos Palos Verdes area. And my apartment was actually, you know, gonna be done. And so I was trying to figure out where I'm going to move next, whether I was going to move to like somewhere cheaper that's like around LA, but kind of off like mostly in the valley because it's like freaking expensive to live by the beach, sadly.
Yeah.
But I had a car that I can drive anywhere to, or move to Arizona, which is like cheaper, but you're not too far from California. You can just drive.
Yep.
But I was just like, I don't know. I found my soulmate, and I found somebody who's meant for me. So I moved in with him because it just felt right, and it just felt instant. So I just moved in with him, and like literally just moved in with him after like a couple of weeks of just like talking to each other for like, you know, because we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And it just seemed natural. And here we are like 8 months later, and we're keep going strong and stuff. Haven't really like, you know, got bored over us yet, God forbid. But
wow,
but like
it'll come. I mean,
but no, I don't think so. I think the fact that he works and I work and we also create and we're the same person. Like him and I are from Oregon. Right. His mom and my parents are only an hour away from each other, and his parents and my parents are exactly the same. Like it's crazy. We didn't even know this until we actually like met. So like, yeah. So everything just works out perfectly and fine. Just like being with your double twin in some ways.
See, my wife and I are similar because when we started talking, we realized that our parents, like I thought she was talking about my dad when she was talking about her dad. So we had really similar. Our parents were raised us very similarly. Yes,
that's what my boyfriend and I like. We raised them similar. Like the fact that him and I are both from Oregon, and the way how we were raised is like what matches us the most.
Yeah.
So yeah. So and now like he's a photographer and he travels as well as musicians.
That works out.
But we can live anywhere while we work. It collides. It connects because usually in relationships there's like things that you have to work out on for like, you know, differences of work. But him and I we're freelancer. Like we work on our own. We're self-employed. So pretty much it works out the same. And we're both unique, so we're not boring.
Very true.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to ask you, what's because you were born without legs, whereas I had a dancer on who got into a car accident and she got amputated below the knee. And so, but that, you know, that was a big change for her because she was in her 30s when she went through it. For you, you've never known any different.
Never. Like a lot of people ask me like, Kanya, how do you like do it? How do you like not, you know, like what makes you, I'm just like, I don't know. Like I feel like I just like, obviously I'm not, I mean, I don't think I'm normal. Even like in my head, I'm not normal because I think differently than most people. But like, I just feel that
has nothing to do with your physical body.
Yeah, I just feel like cool. That's great. Like when I see people as I got older, I didn't really care that they have legs or not, or like the fact that I look different than most people. I just do my thing and just show them what I can do. And I'm like, cool, I don't really care. Like, that's great. You have legs. I don't have legs. We're good. Like, you know, I don't really think like, oh, I wish I had legs so that way I can do this and this and this. No, I don't need that, like, you know, obligation for that just because I don't have legs. I just do it. There's just different from most people, but I still do something that's capable, you know, and I don't really think further of that situation. And I always like put myself in like, hey, no legs, no limits. That's my motto. That's always been my motto. And it's just, you know, I guess I just see life differently because other people with legs or people that, you know, see somebody who are different, they're very intrigued in how they live their life. And it's like understandable. And it's good to ask questions instead of assume. I had a lot of people assume that I got into like a car crash, that I was like in a war. Oh my goodness. I had an old license plate because the car that I got it from wasn't from a dealer. It was from somebody who was selling their car and it was cheap. So I got it and it had a veteran's license on it. Somebody saw me trying to get gas the other day and be like, hey, I just want to give you free gas. And I just want to say thank you for serving in our country. Like, thank you for serving. And I'm just like, oh, no. This car, that I bought it from somebody who was a veteran. I'm not a veteran. I was just born this way. And then they're like looking at me and they're like, well, I want to give you free gas anyway. I'm like, no, keep your money. Like, it's just so funny how people kind of like want to like please you just because like for certain reason. But I just like, dude, I'm good. Like, I don't need that like extra treatment. Or when I didn't have a car, an Uber driver just like this made me kind of mad. Got out and then tried to pick me up, and I'm just like, excuse me, I never asked you for help. I never asked you for like if you can pick me up. That's like against violation. And I just got like I report the Uber, and I'm like, sorry, but like, you know, like just because you see someone who's different and they're not struggling, I mean, like, it's good to ask for help, you know, like it's good if, hey, do you need help? Do I need help? You know, instead of just assuming and just like picking me up, and then oh my gosh, I almost punched him in the face.
See, you know, it's interesting, and I told you earlier that Lex Gillette, the blind Paralympian, said the same thing. He said when he goes to an airport, especially if he's been there before, he kind of knows where to go around. And, you know, he might say, hey, where's the gate at, or where's this, or where's that? And as soon as they do that, they want to put him in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Because they're not, because it's against the rules, if you're not trained in guiding somebody that's blind and they get injured and you're guiding them, they could sue you, or you can get in trouble. So the safe thing for them is to put him in a wheelchair. And he's like, I do not want to go in a wheelchair.
Yes. I've noticed when I travel out of the United States, like out of America, I've noticed that I can't be sitting at certain rows or sections of the seat because of my safety. I'm like, wait, I want to sit by the window. They said I'm not allowed to sit by the window.
Oh, shit.
This is only if I'm traveling out of America, because it's for like safety reasons. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I don't like to sit in the row row area because there's people, and I just like kind of like be in the corner mostly, just like old days.
I'm a window guy.
Yeah, and so, but they're like, no, I'm sorry, ma'am, you're not allowed to sit like by the windows for our safety reasons. And I had 5 other because I'm stubborn. I'm like, no, I'm gonna fight it. I'm a fighter. I'm gonna fight to get my way and like let them know like it's okay. But I had 5 people like come up to me, and I had to talk to the security. I'm like, are you guys fucking kidding me? Like, come on. I just want to sit where I want to sit. Oh. Yeah. So it was an issue, and they wanted me to wait for like the aisle chair. One time I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to do it. If they're going to kick me out of here, I don't care. So I just went, and I was just like, the lady was like, hey, sir, ma'am, your chair. And I'm like, I got this. And I was just walking down the stairs, and they were shocked, and then my chair was there. And then because they didn't allow me to like do my own shit, like go through that like the aisle by myself. I mean, now the fact that there's COVID, I'm more lenient on taking the aisle chair because I don't want to touch anything. So I'm like, fuck, F it. Like,
but for different reasons. I mean, not because.
Yeah, exactly. So I just like, but it's just like I hate waiting, and there's like so many people that you have to wait for, and I'm just like, ooh. But yeah, so. Oh. Yeah, it's just kind of annoying when you have to go, I think when people like they're being too nice, like they think that they're being nice and they're doing something good, they're actually making it worse.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Well, that's why I wanted to, get you on the show so people that listen, because most of the people that listen to my show are business travelers. So we're traveling on either in cars or in planes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's good to expose,
yes,
just to make it more of a normal thing.
Yes, it's I've been traveling a lot throughout my years, and like I feel like a lot of people, I mean, around here knows me because I travel for the Paralympics, I travel for like work, I travel for like many other stuff. I mean, even the people at the Dallas airport was like, hey, we recognize you. People at LAX, hey, we know you. Like they, so, and they're like, no aisle chair, right? Usually, or like,
yeah.
So so I'm used to like, getting, and even to Thailand, they know me. So it's easy once you keep like traveling at multiple places many times that hopefully the employees that still works there, they're like, oh, we know you. Okay, we know what you want. And like, it just makes it a little easier and all that. One day I just want my own jet and own plane. So that way I can just like, don't have to deal with other people around the plane. And
I like the way you think.
Yeah, someday. But they're like $10,000, like $10,000, $20,000 a day to like take those planes. But one day.
It's just money. You just got to figure out the way to get around it.
Yes. You just need to I know some millionaires, but I'm not one of those people that's like, hey, can I use your jet? And just but yeah, usually big projects, big motivational speaking projects and all that, sometimes they'll let me in a private plane depending on what it is. But usually I get first class all the time. So it kind of gives me a little breathing room. But other than that, just got to make my way up there. That way I don't have to, worry about anybody.
No, I'm kind of curious, and I'm sure. You started was skateboarding. Did you start getting around on skateboard for fun, or was it a mode of transportation when you first started?
That's funny. When I was 9 years old, I started skateboarding because my friend that was my neighbor in my neighborhood, her brother skate, and I tried the skateboard, and my first attempt was going down the hill, and it felt so fun, and I just wanted my own ever since. And once I got my skateboard, I just went everywhere I go with my skateboard. I didn't care what, but I went everywhere, and I went to the Tualatin skate park in Oregon and just skated every day after school, after class, and it was more of a transportation. Obviously sometimes I'm very cautious of cars and what happens when I go across the streets, because people don't look. People are very reckless on the street, especially in LA.
Oh yeah, man.
I would ride down from Westwood all the way to Santa Monica down that hill, from Barrington Plaza Street all the way down to Santa Monica Promenade, and
bombing hills.
Yeah, from hills. But people in California, they don't care.
They don't care about anything.
Even no, and that's why there's a lot of incidents with skaters that's out there, and they get hit by cars a lot, because as reckless as we are, we also have to be careful of what's going on. But there's just a lot of activities and things on the side of the road as well. And one time I was going down, and a car was coming out of an alleyway, but it was a big truck, a semi truck kind of, and I'm just holy shit. And my friend kind of stopped it and saved my life. But other than that, they can't see me because I'm shorter than most people, you know. Obviously I don't have legs. I'm 29 inches. That's almost 3 feet, Yeah. So it's scary. But luckily, God forbid, since then it's just, you just always have to be careful, even with legs or without legs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when my wife and I are skating, we've been almost hit by cars, and we're with our skates on, we're 6 feet tall. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's just people's actions and the way how they don't really looking, or sometimes they look, but people can be things so fast, and you try to go, but you're okay. I think I'm good to go out, but then there's a skater or a scooter, especially motor scooters, just goes past by you so fast that you don't even know it. So yeah, it's just something that both sides have to be careful when you ride and stuff. I know we like to have fun, but it could end up really bad if we don't. I got wiser now. When I was younger, I used to be young and reckless, blah blah blah, F it, and all that. But now I'm nah. I've seen too many horror stories. I'm okay, I need to be more wise on certain things and stuff. So yeah.
See, it's funny because the first time I went to a skate park, which was in Hermosa, it's a little public community park, and there was no one in there, so it was just my wife and I. And I'd never been on. I had just learned I've been on roller skates for 6 months. And of course, I'm hey.
What skate park was it?
In Hermosa, right on Pier Ave.
I think I've been there.
Yeah, it's a tiny little park, but
the tiny little park that has one side half ramp thing, and the other side. Yeah, I've been there. Right by the tennis court, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know where that is. I used to go to that park.
So a little center island there. There's a little. It's just a transition ramp, and I'm hey, honey, film this. I want to do this. And she goes, what are you doing? I said, well, just film it, because I didn't want to tell her, because I knew she'd tell me to stop. So I do the
Oh my
jump.
God.
The wheels go out. I fall on my butt really hard. And,
Oh. Oh my goodness.
really hard. And so that was the end of the day. It was my first day in a skate
Oh
park.
wow.
6 months later, my butt still hurts.
Damn.
We're at the doctor. My wife goes, she was there for something else. She goes, hey, you should get an X-ray on your tailbone, see what's happening. She goes, yeah, doctor, yeah, you fractured it.
That's crazy. I ride on my butt all the time.
Yeah, but you see that.
But I didn't. Sometimes I fall on it, but it doesn't really hurt. I don't know. Maybe like I just like kind of like through time, it's just natural for me, I guess, or something. But I never really understood.
I'll DM you the video, and you can watch me as I.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I never really understand about that park. Every time when I go, I'm not sure if it's closed or open because there's a gate there, and like there's always like that homeless person in his wheelchair that's like guarding it or something. I don't know, but like I always like, is it open? Because there's barely anybody in there usually.
You know why?
Why?
Because unless you're a disabled person, I suppose you didn't have to. But if you want to use that park, you have to have a helmet. You have to have wrist guards. You have to have elbow pads and knee pads.
What? That's so crazy.
And so usually it's empty because you only get smaller kids in there because they're the only ones that their parents make them wear all the pads anyways. But skateboarders, once they get into their teenage years, are like, I'm not wearing knee pads, and I'm not wearing elbow pads, and so.
I feel like that has to be more for like Venice Beach skate park because every time everyone snakes, or when I go to the snake run, my friends or people would just snake me, and I'm just like, oh fuck, oh my god, and especially the transition that just goes downhill until you get to the bowl area. It's just like you cannot see anybody, and there's a lot of people there because it's more of like tourist area. Yeah. But my park that I mostly go to the most is Harbor City Skate Park. I really love Harbor City Skate Park. That's where a lot of my homies like chill out and hang out. And that park like
I was told just to go. I just had a neighbor tell me to go up there. It's right on Western, right?
Harbor City, right by Harbor. It's in Harbor City. It's right by, not far from other two skate parks.
There's one on Western.
Well known.
In RPV.
There's another skate park that I've been to once, but in like that big, it's that big park where it has its like man-made lake and it has like a playground, but it's also like a big area for people to run or have picnics.
Oh, I know where you're at.
Yeah.
But there's
there's a golf course and also there's a skate park, but the skate park is like pretty nice, but it has mostly bowls or something, and they play a lot of like punk rock bands of like locals that usually go there and stuff like that. I've only been there like a couple times, but a lot of my friends go there. But yeah, that's one. But I think my favorite skate park out of all that I went to would have to be Linda Vista Skate Park in San Diego.
Oh wow!
And I really love OB Park, Ocean Beach Park in San Diego.
Yeah, we went there too.
Yeah. I miss my home in California. I'll be back, but I just need to make enough money to live there.
You can visit. I'm sure they have parks in Austin.
Well, yeah. I'm visiting for work. Definitely going to go there for work. But one day I'll live back in California because I feel like my heart is in California. I don't know. I feel like a lot of my family and friends are in California. And I don't know. It's just my vibe.
Well, and it's still fresh for you.
Yes. I lived there for 7 years. Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah. But you've only been out of there for a few months, right?
Yeah, a few months, 8 months now.
Yeah, so you get a little homesick.
But we're going to move to Austin. So, Austin, I love Austin. So, I have a same but different feel for Austin versus California. Like, Austin, it's definitely skater scene, but it's definitely, one of those, cities where you're like, I can breathe, you know?
What is it? Are you moving to Austin because of your boyfriend? Is that the main reason?
No, I'm moving to Austin because of work.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. We're all moving up there for work.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm moving up there for work, but also I'm moving up there because I don't know. I lived everywhere. I lived in Utah. I lived in Canada. I lived in Oregon. I lived in Arizona. I lived in California. I lived everywhere. Now I'm living in Texas, so I feel like I'm a traveler slash like migrator slash gypsy. You know,
Yeah,
can't stay in one place.
If you talk to most people, well, I don't like to assume for most people, but from what I've heard, a lot of people like to travel. So, I mean, you're kind of living that life where you're doing what a lot of people want to do.
Yeah, I just do it. I don't think of it. I just go for it. Like, yeah, when I moved to California, I had no more than $2,000 in my bank account.
And that like, doesn't go far here.
Yeah, and I lived different places. I lived with my friends in Laguna Beach. I mean, I like Laguna, but I would never live there. It's not really my vibe. It's more like, I don't know, it's different. And then I moved from Laguna Beach to LA, so LA is more my vibe. But other than that, I lived like Venice, Westwood, Koreatown, Mid-City area where like the mall is at.
Yeah.
And then lived in South Bay area and all that stuff. I really love South Bay, to be honest. South Bay is like where it's at. But yeah, I'm done with like the Hollywood like lifestyle out there. I love Venice. I love my family and friends in Venice, but I'm good with them. But like, yeah, it's good. It's good.
That's all. Everything's. I mean, it seems like with your positive attitude that no matter where you end up, it's all good. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's all good. Like, yeah, my mom's from California. She was born and raised here in California, but like by San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think you have such a great attitude about it.
Oh, yes.
What do you not like about traveling? What parts do you not like?
What I do not like about traveling is packing and then unpacking.
Yeah.
And then packing again. And then having to do laundry and then packing it. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that I don't like about travel. Oh, yeah. No, wait. Another thing I don't like about traveling is like, you have to go through like security and like you have to I mean, luckily I don't have to wait in line forever, but still you have to go through security. Again, I am in a wheelchair. They put me on the side and they check everything, making sure I don't have a bomb in me and all that stuff. I'm safe, but like I always have to go through that like process, you know? And so I'm just like, I just want to get to my gate and just go on the plane. And I think it's just like going through security, going to the gate, going on to the plane, and then, okay, cool. I just want to get to my destination. That's all I care for. Yeah.
Well, in that case, you're joining all of us. We're all the same in that boat. I mean,
unless you have your own private jet where you can just like go through security and go inside your jet and you're good.
We got to work that out for you.
I know. Seriously, one day.
Well, you never know.
You never know. Anything's possible. Life is a journey.
So just the normal stuff. There's nothing that bothers you because of your disability, as far as
no.
Yeah, I mean,
I always, I wouldn't have to say I'm perfect of thinking about positivity because there's times where, like, personally, I don't feel like myself. I'm kind of like, not feeling it, but I always put myself back into the game mode of like Kanye and stuff, and I always like put myself in a space of area when like I'm not trying to show people if something, like, God forbid, something happens that, sometimes like I'm not like, I don't feel like myself and stuff like that. I don't try to project that on other people. And I always like make the best out of myself in front of people because I want them to feel happy when they're around me and stuff like that. And like, but it's also okay to talk about things to like certain people that you trust. So it's just, I'm not perfect myself because we're all human and we like live our, yes. But a lot of people ask me, like, how do you be so positive? How do you be so all that? I'm all like, well, I'm positive because I like to project certain things to people on my own personal business stuff. When I have to work, I work, and I want to, like, make my game face on. When I have to be around people because I have to talk to them about, like, that's not really about me, but about, talk about like what's going on with them. I have to like put my game face on for them and make sure that they're okay. And it's not always going to be about me. And I think also I'm just like, okay, cool. I don't really hold things for long. I just go along with life as it is and just like make the perfect and best out of it, even when days are shitty. So because I always have that attitude of like, it will get better. Like it will be better. Like It's all good. It's just not today. Today is not meant for you, Kanya, but tomorrow will, and the next day. The good thing is that you're living, like I said from the beginning.
Absolutely. I mean, that's that. My wife considers herself a realist, and I'm the optimist.
Yeah, just being real. Yeah, it's good to be real than being fake. Because never be fake. Be real with yourself and be real with other people. And also, I've learned throughout life that I don't always have to be the hero. Like, I can always ask for help. I don't always have to make myself like, no, like, because that comes out with my stubbornness. And also, I used to think I'm always right all the time. So that comes out with just, maturity, I guess.
I laugh
now
because
I'm 28.
You sound just like my daughters.
I'm 28 years old. So now I'm like, okay, I'm almost 30. I'm understanding a little bit more about myself and like what I've learned throughout my years. So, but I'm still young, so I'm still living it, and life's good. And it's just learning, I'm still learning every day. So
that's all we can do.
Exactly.
Well,
yep. All we can do.
You've been an absolutely ideal guest. Thank you so much for.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you again
That's
so much.
Great. Thank you so much for like talking and to me, and it was really fun to like get to know you. And I'm definitely gonna say hi to Kelly Davis for me. And
yeah, I'll see her probably later too when I'm walking the dog.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kanye. It was great. I appreciate it.
You too.
Okay, Kanye.
All right.
Bye bye.